Hi everyone and welcome back to Our Abundant Life. Today we are starting our series on kids and money. This is a 3-part series. Today we're going to talk about the things that you need to teach your children about money. Next week we will talk about allowances and pocket money and how you manage that. And lastly we will talk about practical ways to create money savvy kids. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, make sure you click the subscribe button down below so that you'll be notified for all the future videos in this series. As we have thought about this video over the past week, we've come up with 6 different things that we think that are really important that you teach your children about. The first one being that nobody owes you anything. I think this is really important as we're raising the next generation, that we don't raise an entitled generation, because I see that is what's happening a lot at the moment, that a lot of kids feel entitled and the parents are caving in and giving them whatever they want because they feel like that's the right thing to do. Just because everybody has a new iPad or everybody has something new and cool does not mean that you automatically get it, or that your parents owe it to you to buy it for you. And we as parents shouldn't feel trapped into that mentality that because they want it and because it's a good idea that maybe we should buy it for them with no effort on their part. Sure, if they want it, that's absolutely fine, and if they want to work for it, that's even better. Maybe they can pay half and you can pay half as well. But just because they want something doesn't automatically mean that they should get it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right. Raising children who feel entitled and feel like everybody owes them something is not going to serve them well in the future. Sure, it feels absolutely wonderful to give your children things that they want. Everybody loves to see their children happy and to see them light up when they open the new present that you bought them or things like that. But in the future, it's not going to serve them well as adults. And that's what we're really aiming for as parents, is to raise well-adjusted children who contribute to society and that make the world a better place, and not children who just feel entitled and want to rely on lots of other people to bring them happiness when they can't go out and seek their own happiness and get that joy that comes from saving up for something and accomplishing something like that.
The second point goes along with that quite well, and it's about delayed gratification. Like my wife was just saying, kids these days seem to want everything and they want it now. And I guess it's not just kids, it's everybody. Everybody wants it now. They don't want to wait for something. And that kind of thinking, like we were saying, will lead people to be reliant on credit cards, and they'll rack up that debt that they don't really need to have because they just want to have something and they'll need to have it now. So yeah, as we were saying, it's important for us to teach our children the importance of saving up for something and having them to feel that sense of achievement and happiness when they reach their goal after having worked hard for it. I think it helps them to appreciate even more as well the things that they're getting. Because they put their own time and effort and money into getting it, they're going to treat that gift or that special toy or whatever it is that little bit more carefully, because they will remember the effort that it took for them to get it.
Yeah. At an early age, we want to create children who are good at money management. We want to teach them how to manage their money and how to budget their money. The 3 categories that we teach our children to put their money into is into spending, saving and giving. We want the children to know that not all money is for spending. There is money that needs to be set aside for saving up for something and money that's set aside for giving, which is something that we'll talk about next. I think it's important that we ingrain those habits very early on, so that when they start getting more money, like when they start working as teenagers and then further into their adult life, that they know that they have certain responsibilities. They have responsibilities to the community for giving and for helping those less fortunate than themselves. They have responsibilities to pay for things like bills and things like that, so that they know when they're older that they can't just spend their entire paycheck all in one go, which is what a lot of people do, I think, when they first get that first big paycheck. Because I know that's exactly what I did when I got my first big paycheck. I went and spent like $1,000 all in one day on, I don't know what on earth I spent it on, clothes and food and just junk, I guess.
Alright, so that brings us to our next point, which is about giving. Now, it's important for us to teach our children about the importance of giving and about considering others, because a lot of children, and probably adults as well, tend to think only about themselves and to be a bit selfish and self-centered, and don't really think about what's happening in other people's lives. So it's important for us to help our children to realise that they can do a lot of good for other people, especially other people who might be struggling or might be having a hard time themselves. So that's one of the reasons why we have encouraged our kids to have part of their allowance or part of the money that we give them towards giving to other people or to helping others. Teaching our children to give is important, I think, for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons is that it helps them to appreciate more what they have. Even though they might not be getting a lot of money, there's always other people around us who have less than us. And helping them to see that will help them to appreciate that they have got something and that they're quite
well off.
Yeah, they're usually a lot better off than what they might think they are. Another important reason is that a lot of happiness can come from giving to others. Helping other people who might be struggling. It always gives you a good feeling inside when you think about others and help them. And I think it's important for us to teach our children those important lessons.
The fifth thing that we want you to teach your children is how to work and how to have a strong work ethic. This is quite difficult to teach and it can be quite a painful process. Just yesterday I was trying to teach my daughter how to clean the bathroom, and I could have done it in maybe 10 minutes and it would have been perfect. It took her probably almost 2 hours to get it done properly. She'd come in and she'd say, can you come and check it, and it still wouldn't be done right. There would be still stuff that needed wiping down, there was still toothpaste on the mirror and things, but I wanted her to learn how to do a job properly. The same thing during this week, we just started back at homeschool this week, and the kids came to me with their handwriting and it was sloppy and it was messy, and I made them go back and redo it over and over again until it came back properly, because I want them to learn that a job done right is better than a job done sloppily, and they need to have that work ethic to do a job well the first time and to have pride in that work instead of trying to just do it as fast as they can or to get away with doing the minimum. Because if you just do the minimum, all you're going to get out of it is the minimum reward.
One of the things that I'm most thankful for in my own upbringing is that my parents, especially my dad, taught us to work hard. We worked a lot around our home. We had big gardens and a lot of trees that needed tending to, and we spent a lot of weekends and our holidays working in the gardens. And while I certainly didn't appreciate it much at the time, it definitely taught me good habits to do with working, and how after a good day of doing good work, you definitely feel good about yourself that you've done something good.
Yeah, that's one of the things I admired about Adahi and his whole family. Actually, he's got 9 kids in his family, and they all have a really strong work ethic, and that can be definitely tied down to the way that your parents raised you.
Now, you don't have to make your kids work all through their school holidays and every weekend like I did, but
why not?
Maybe every now and then you can help them to learn how important work is. Our last point, number 6 for today, is the difference between being frugal and being cheap. Now, being cheap is what we're going to call just getting like the cheapest option. Like, for example, buying some toy from like the $2 shop that, as we all know, is only going to last maybe a day, maybe a day and a half.
If you're lucky.
Or even just the ride home from the shops.
Yeah.
So children definitely sometimes want to just have that little thing, and they just want to have it now, and they might be a little bit on the cheap side when they're going about getting their toys or whatever it is that they're buying. So it's important for us to teach them that sometimes those things aren't going to last very long if we're just buying the cheapest option, and that sometimes it's more important to save up a little bit of money to get something that's going to last a bit longer so that they can get a bit more enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, sometimes I think kids need to actually learn that lesson. You can't be just telling them, oh, it's better to buy a more expensive toy because it will last longer, because they don't understand that. So sometimes you're just going to have to let them waste their money on trash so that they can learn that lesson for themselves and feel that disappointment when their toy breaks and realise that, oh, maybe I should have bought the other toy. Because sometimes, you know, as parents you can tell your kids over and over and over, but they still don't listen and they don't get it until they experience it themselves. I'm sure that you've experienced that with your own parents. They've told you not to do something and you didn't believe them and you went and did it anyway, and you've suffered the consequences for not listening to your parents. So sometimes, yeah, just let your kids waste their money on some trash from the $2 shop and watch it break and watch them be disappointed, and they'll learn the lesson. It's okay for your kids to be disappointed and feel sad and things like that, that they learn from it. That's one of the best things about life, is from disappointment that you can learn.
Hopefully you weren't disappointed with our video today.
So that brings us to the end of our video for today, and we hope you really enjoyed it. We're excited to teach you next week about how we give our kids money, how we manage allowances and pocket money and things like that, and the ways that you can do it too, because we've got some really good ideas. So make sure you subscribe down below, and we will see you next week.
Have a great week.